Having a pilot in the cockpit is no longer necessary?
It's fully autonomous. We win 99.9% of the dogfights against human pilots. AI has not been a big part of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. If Ukraine had been able to put up 1 million drones on their border, Russia would not have invaded. I have a lot of respect for the Palantir team. I'll tell you, I want to deploy 1 million AI pilots in the next 10 years. I want to deploy 100 million AI pilots in the next 15 years.
Which sectors, or even specific companies, you consider holding the most potential for investors?
I think you look at these companies that have gone through what we call the...
SamPro TV has prepared a very special interview for you today. Our guest is from Shield AI, an American defense AI software company. You might be familiar with Palantir, which has also been achieving similar success as it expands into the defense sector. Today, I know many of you are interested in artificial intelligence, and especially in the defense industry. The convergence of AI and defense is a hot topic right now. So we thought you'd be interested to hear from the co-founder of Shield AI, a startup that's been making waves in the US, Brandon Tseng. We'll be interviewing its co-founder directly. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Observing the dynamic approach of Shield AI, it's clear that your team blend artificial intelligence with the defense sector, notably integrating AI's functionality with Air Force pilots. Could you share insights into how you ventured into this particular line of business? Is there a personal anecdote that played a critical role in guiding you toward this innovative path?
Yeah, so I used to be a US Navy SEAL. I'm an engineer. I was always interested in technology. And back in 2013, 2014, my brother, who was also an entrepreneur, technology entrepreneur, he had sold his business to Qualcomm. He told me, start reading about AI and autonomy. It was going to be the next big thing. It was going to be bigger than the internet was. And so started reading a lot about AI and autonomy. Wanted to do something entrepreneurial, and then was trying to think about the problems that I could solve. And I just kept coming back to the problems that I had faced. As a Navy SEAL, they teach you don't complain about things. So consumer problems really didn't resonate with me. I didn't have any business experience. So business problems, I didn't know any business problems to solve. All I knew were the problems that I had faced as a Navy SEAL, deployed to Afghanistan, deployed to the Pacific, deployed to the Middle East. And decided, you know what, these are really important problems. They're problems of national security, of global stability. And I asked myself, what is the role that AI and autonomy plays in the military of 2035? This was back in 2015. I decided that AI and autonomy should be powering, commanding, maneuvering every single military asset there is, every single military platform, from airplanes to ships to submarines to tanks, because it would do so better than any human being could do it. And it could control swarms and command swarms of these platforms. So had this great grand big vision of what AI and autonomy would do for the military in 2035. But obviously didn't have anything in 2015, just had an idea. So brought the idea to my brother. I asked him, told him what I wanted to do, bring the best of AI and autonomy to the problem of defense and to protect service members, to protect civilians. And he said, Brandon, that sounds like a very noble mission. Sounds like a horrible business. I'll teach you why it's a horrible business. Go talk to 100 different people. Spoke to 100 different people, brought him along, and convinced him over a period of time that there might be, something here, that there could be a business made from this idea. And then so we decided to start the company, went up to Silicon Valley to raise capital. Met with 30 investors, and they said, Brandon and Ryan, this is a very noble mission, very horrible business, and they all said no. And so that's how it all started. Obviously, we've gone a long way since then and got our first yes from an investor in 2016. But that's, started with just an idea of what AI and autonomy could do for the military.
In your role as a former Navy SEAL, can you think of a particular combat situation that posed a significant problem, leading you to wish that artificial intelligence was capable of handling and providing solutions to such challenges effectively?
Yeah, so the problem that we're solving is fundamentally a problem of intelligence collection. It's a problem of maneuver. And what an AI pilot does is it enables any unmanned platform, whether it's an aerial vehicle, whether it's a surface vessel, whether it's an underwater vehicle, to maneuver without GPS, without communications, and enables the concept of swarming or teaming. And so swarming is super important in a military construct because a first principle of warfare is the concept of mass, right? Armies or navies that have more things generally beat armies or navies that have less things, right? And so that's why mass is important. And what AI and autonomy enables you to do is have basically unlimited mass on the battlefield. And so that unlimited mass gives you better intelligence, it gives you better maneuver, and it can actually, because you have better intelligence, because you have better maneuver, you can therefore deter adversaries simply through your strength.
In the journey of melding AI into actual battlefield scenarios, could you elaborate on what the most challenging technical barrier was that you encountered? I am curious because your insights could shed light on the fundamental challenges faced in the intersection of AI and military defense. Through your detailed explanation, we could gain better comprehension of the complexities involved, which in turn allows us to attain a deeper understanding of the nuances of AI itself.
The technical challenge is it's very similar to the self-driving car industry. And so that's essentially what we talk. An AI pilot is essentially a self-driving car technology applied to an unmanned system. And so there's a number of different software modules, but the easiest way to think about it is there's perception, there's cognition, and there's action, right? We are autonomous systems. We perceive the world with our senses, and then we create, basically a map of the world. Then we think about what to do, and then we maneuver. We act in the world. That is the same thing a self-driving car is doing. It's using its sensors to create a map of the world, to perceive its world. Then it is thinking. It's using its GPU to think about what to do, and then it's actuating its motors. We're doing the exact same thing with unmanned systems, whether it's an air vehicle or surface vehicle. We use sensors to perceive the world, whether they're cameras, whether they're radars, whether it's LiDAR. Then we use GPUs to think about the world, obviously with our software on board that helps the platform reason. And then we actuate the motors, the controls on board the platform, on board the vehicle, on board the aircraft to then execute what the GPU was telling us to do.
So, does this imply that having a pilot in the cockpit is no longer necessary, or must there still be someone at the controls?
It's fully autonomous. And so I'm wearing this t-shirt that says AI has the aircraft. We have AI piloted F-16s. When the test pilot is flying the aircraft, he hits a button, he puts up his hands like this, and he comes over the radio, he says, AI has the aircraft. And it does absolutely everything, fully autonomous. Now, when our other unmanned systems, whether our AI pilot on a quadcopter or AI pilot on our VBAT aircraft, which is a vertical takeoff, launch, and land aircraft that does ISR and targeting missions, same missions that you would see a Predator drone do. In that case too, you can still have it completely autonomous, but then people are normally monitoring what's going on in that situation, right? They're on the loop. They don't have to be in the loop. They can be if they want. But again, it's very much like a self-driving car. I have a Tesla. I let it drive me around. I'm just watching it, it do things, monitoring what's going on. I can take control if I want to, but I don't have to.
When there is no requirement for the pilot to be on board the jet physically, the risk they face from potential incidents such as accidents or being shot down is effectively minimized. Therefore, in situations where their duty is monitoring, carrying out this task remotely from a separate location could offer much greater protection. Could this realistically be done?
Yes. So when we fly the F-16 autonomously, there's just a test pilot there for safety measures. But the work that we're doing on something like an F-16 is for this next generation of uncrewed fighter jets where there is no cockpit. There is zero human pilot in it. And so in that situation, what happens is the warfighter will plan a mission. hit a button, and the aircraft automatically goes and conducts that mission. Now, they can remotely access the aircraft if they want to. Like I said, they can take command if they need to, and if there's a good communications link, but it's not required. And so therefore, you can have a single pilot command hundreds, thousands of aircraft all at once, because they don't have to be actively engaged flying the aircraft. They can command the aircraft.
Tesla's autopilot functions in a way that is akin to human driving, though doubts remain about its potential to outperform human drivers. You've mentioned the principles are similarly based. Does this mean the AI pilot shows a better aptitude for flying and engaging in combat than human pilots? Or is the goal simply to reach the level of a human pilot's ability?
It's the AI pilot is much better than a human being. And even in self-driving cars, self-driving autonomy has now surpassed human beings in terms of driving at a statistical level. And so when we think about like our AI pilot, the F-16 is a good example. We win 99.9% of the dogfights against human pilots. And so we never lose. And that's the worst that it will ever be. So we are already, you're seeing autonomy in almost any domain, whether it's cars, whether it's unmanned systems, outperforming human pilots today.
In today's rapidly evolving technological landscape, as AI merges with unmanned or remotely controlled aircraft systems, could you explain the specific challenges or limitations these technologies currently face?
A weakness in terms of the human-machine team, it's not weak. I think the strongest military forces will have very, very few human operators that are augmented by millions of drones. And so that's, something that we're really excited about enabling. I'll take the example of South Korea, right? I believe you have an armed forces of around 500,000 to 600,000. And what I have heard from people is that number is going to shrink over the next several years to probably 300,000. Even if we were to give South Korea 10 million drones, you don't have enough pilots. And so that's why you need AI pilots. You need the autonomy to augment that human force. And so that's what we're doing at the end of the day, is creating a very, very strong, resilient human-machine team.
All right. Are there any areas where you think your team needs to improve?
There will continue to be advancements of the AI, and autonomy is just continuously improving, and it'll get better and better and better. There is not a technological barrier to having millions of drones commanded by a handful of people. It is simply a matter of execution for engineers and businesses to make that happen. There is certainly, regulatory policy and acquisition policy that makes adoption slower than what, if you just had unlimited resources and said go. But it's truly not a matter of if it is going to happen. It is happening. It is happening fast. And it's something that, Shield AI is excited about and something that we're enabling.
May I ask for clarification regarding the potential costs, particularly in situations where a defense ministry or a foreign country chooses to integrate this into their fighter jets? What would be the financial requirements? Also, I'm wondering how your team structures the pricing.
Yeah, so as a private company, we're not disclosing our revenue numbers, but I can tell you our growth is substantial. We expect to double our revenue this year. We're over 9 figures in terms of US dollars. Our objective over the next several years is to hit $1 billion in US dollars in terms of revenue. That's as much financial information as a private company that, we'll disclose today.
So how do you guys charge for this? Is it set up as a monthly fee, or do you typically charge for the full package upfront?
It really depends on the type of platform and the product that we're selling. And so we sell a number of different products. One of our products is a enterprise software platform that enables companies to build, develop, test, and evaluate autonomy. And so they buy that HiveMind Enterprise SDK. That is a seat license. That's an annual recurring revenue model. And then we have another one of our products is for for certain U.S. programs, U.S. military programs, they buy an AI pilot, and that's on an annual basis. And then there is sometimes for some of our smaller drones, they buy the AI pilot as a payload. So essentially, that's a one-time fee where they've purchased the AI pilot as they think of it as like a payload that would go on the aircraft.
This situation appears more complicated than anticipated. Just to make it clear, what if a country has 100 fighter jets and wants to integrate AI-driven unmanned aviation solutions? Roughly, what kind of cost are we looking at? I just want to get a sense of the price.
It is very complicated.
Complex.
It is very complex.
Yep.
Defense is a very complex business. An AI pilot for a fighter jet, basically $1 million per year.
$1 million
per aircraft.
year per one jet fighter jet.
Per aircraft, which is less than the cost of a human pilot. And the really cool thing is our pilots are the best fighter pilots there are. They only get better and better and better. I'll use the example when we were doing the DARPA Alpha Dogfight program. We started the program, and in 3 months, our pilot would accumulate about 30 years of flight experience, which is more than any human pilot in the world, right? That's 30 years, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day in terms of how much flight experience it had. At the end of the program, we were accumulating 30 years of flight experience in 3 days. And so our AI pilots at this point in time have experienced, thousands of years of flying, which is more than any human pilot. And so, and you're getting it at, a rate that is cheaper than what it costs to train a new fighter pilot. Because you think about a new fighter pilot, they're inexperienced. You have to send them through years of training, which costs millions of dollars to train them. Wow. And then it takes them, after initial training, it takes them 8-10 years to become very, very, very good fighter pilots. Just like when I was a Navy SEAL, I was not a good Navy SEAL, the day I became a Navy SEAL. It took me time in many years to become very proficient at my craft, at my job. AI pilots, every single one is the best pilot ever.
In contemplating the design of AI pilots, they would integrate the sophisticated tactics of the finest and most experienced pilots available. If two such AI pilots, flying identical models of fighter jets, were to find themselves locked in combat, would it not seem logical that the likelihood of either succeeding is equal at 50%? Perhaps this represents the fundamental concept under discussion?
Yeah. We do that all the time in simulation, where we have red AI versus blue AI. So good AI pilot versus bad AI pilot. And they fight each other millions of times over. And that's how you accumulate that experience. And so that is what will actually happen with warfare, where it will be drones versus drones, and whoever has the best AI or the best AI and the most drones, most capable drones will win. But that is the direction that warfare is going towards. And even you see that today in Russia, Ukraine, where you have lots of drones being used on the battlefield. Today, it's less of drone versus drone. But as these drones get better, you'll start to see more drone-on-drone warfare.
I'm quite intrigued about the AI's brain that conducts these detailed computations. Is this system working remotely across a centralized location through networks like 5G or 6G? Or does each fighter jet individually come equipped with an internal brain, providing the capability to perform calculations on its own? How does it fit into the larger technological framework?
Yeah. So you don't need communications links with an AI pilot. But every single aircraft has that we work with has satellite communications, and so they operate autonomously, and communications not required. But if you want the data coming back and the video streams coming back, and to see what the aircraft is doing, we work with satellite radios to transmit that data.
For self-driving cars, the imperative inclusion of extremely high-performance computing systems within their design results in considerably increased power consumption levels, necessitating larger battery packs, each requirement presenting substantial challenges. Meanwhile, if one considers combat scenarios faced by fighter jets, the complexity is significantly higher. This complexity demands even more advanced CPUs, accompanied by additional batteries, which could lead to the aircraft's weight becoming problematic. Does this complexity raise substantial practical difficulties? Could you share how your team tackles these complexities? It would really help us understand the real challenges on the ground.
The answer is no. None of that is
No?
actually required. No. Like a self-driving car, again, I have a Tesla, has a GPU. I want to say it has probably 8 cameras on board, very tiny cameras. And you have incredible autonomy with that, again, better than human drivers. With a, self-driving fighter jet aircraft, you'll have a couple, 2, 3 GPUs on board, very small NVIDIA GPUs. And then you have the best sensors in the world on these aircraft, these radars, these cameras. They are incredible sensors. And so doesn't mean the aircraft is heavier or doesn't require like special batteries or anything like that. These airplanes already, they generate a tremendous amount of electrical power. They have incredible sensors on board. And so really it's just making sure that you have a handful of GPUs, 2 to 3 GPUs on board the aircraft, and you can have incredible levels of autonomy.
You mean is flying easier than driving?
In many ways, yes. Less obstacles, 3 dimensions of travel, less edge cases.
As such technological advancements gain traction and become more commonplace, it is crucial to reflect on the broader impact these may have on transforming the future of warfare. Notably, there's an indication that AI technology has been utilized in the Russia-Ukraine war. Could you explore this aspect while forecasting how AI's involvement might redefine the strategic landscape of future military engagements?
So what AI is going to enable is for millions of drones to be used on the battlefield effectively. And so what Russia and Ukraine has shown is, armed personnel with thousands of drones. Now, it's only been thousands of drones because AI has not been a big part of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, not AI-piloted drones. Shield AI has the only AI-piloted drones flying in Ukraine today. And that's on our 180-pound vertical takeoff, launch, and land aircraft called the VBAT. But as we think about, in the next 5 years, 10 years, you'll start to see AI integrated on more, AI pilots integrated onto more and more and more and more drones, which then enables armed forces for militaries to wield effectively millions of these drone systems. And so what that looks like over a period of time is, the way that we think about it is it's a deterrence. If Ukraine had been able to put up 1 million drones on their border, Russia would not have invaded, right? If they had swarms of drones patrolling their border. That is the power of AI and autonomy when you combine it with low-cost drones, is that they become a very strategic conventional deterrence.
Do you expect that traditional high-cost military aircraft will steadily experience a decline in their functionality and practical significance over time?
Yep. So everything is moving towards smaller, cheaper, more affordable, autonomous, intelligent drones. And so today, an F-35 can cost $100 million or more, depending what you're getting on that F-35. That same mission is going to be done by $20 million high performance fighter jet drones. There are strategic intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and targeting drones that cost $100 million to $180 million. Shield AI builds an aircraft with an AI pilot, this VBAT aircraft, that does that exact same mission for $1 million. Even these weapon systems, a $6 million missile, right? Now, one-way attack drones, $50,000, they can go just as far, and you can send many, many, many more of them. You send 10 of them, and you can have the same impact. So the world in every single military is moving towards this concept of much more affordable, intelligent drones, and we're getting away from very expensive, very exquisite, very hard to produce slow to produce assets like a fighter jet.
As we cast our thoughts towards the future of AI technology, it's essential to consider, will such advancements lead to the widening of existing disparities, amplifying the differences in military power between countries? Or, by allowing for more strategic and economical deployment, might these technological strides help to narrow the military gap, promoting greater balance and equality in military capabilities worldwide?
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is an increase in defense capabilities by every single country there is. And so I think it's actually, we're all stronger when, our allies have more deterrence. The United States benefits from a South Korea that has a much stronger military. We benefit from NATO countries that have a stronger military. And so we believe that AI and autonomy is going to, when these militaries start to adopt it, will massively strengthen their military forces.
As we all get stronger, don't we all become all the same, all the like each other, or the more like each other?
Yeah, I think I understand the question. I think it overall benefits the world and the globe when there is more deterrence of aggression. Like, the world would have been much better had Ukraine had better deterrence. The world will be much better if South Korea has more deterrence capabilities. And so that's what AI and autonomy is enabling, is a new type of deterrence, a new type of strategic deterrence, which is swarms of autonomous drones. And so I think it's an overall net positive for the world, because then there is no benefit to attacking your neighbor, right? Because you have this strong deterrence. And so that's when I think you actually will see conflicts decrease because of this technology.
I've come across information that there is a cutting-edge trend in air combat tactics defined by the collaboration between traditional fighter jets and drones. The industry has tagged this strategy as Think, Judge, Act, ACTAC. Would you be able to provide a detailed and thorough explanation of the concept, including insights into how this approach might reshape future air combat scenarios?
Yeah. Today, so I think most air forces are thinking about a human-machine team, where they have a fighter jet, an F-35 up in the air, and it's augmented by lots of different AI-piloted jet aircraft. And so that's where the direction that most air forces are going over the next 5-10 years. I actually think that they will get to a point where they actually won't need the human pilot up in the sky, and it'll just be AI piloted drones. And I think that'll actually happen in the next 10 years, which I think is faster than a lot of people are expecting.
It appears that AI pilot systems have the potential to broaden their scope of application substantially over the long term, moving from purely military uses into civilian areas. What are some potential sectors or industries where you see this technology being utilized in civilian contexts?
100%. There's going to be AI pilots for the commercial aircraft. Actually, it's the airplane manufacturers. They are thinking about it. I believe it'll be one of the next clean sheet designs of an airplane. Whenever a Boeing or an Airbus decides to build a very clean sheet airplane, they'll start thinking about an AI pilot involved in it. That AI, there's still going to be human pilots in the cockpit. The way that it'll happen is you'll have two human pilots plus an AI pilot running for several years. The AI pilot's just collecting data, flying the aircraft. Then eventually, when there's enough data for the regulatory agencies, they'll come down to one pilot in an AI pilot. And I actually don't think that they will ever get rid of the human pilot for commercial travel, because we like the idea of having a human pilot in the aircraft. But, I say, like, I wouldn't take out the human pilot of an aircraft. I don't believe that'll happen until 2055, 2060. So 40 years from now. Just people like to see another person, flying an airplane when they get on board.
These days, interest in developments within the defense industry has surged, drawing considerable attention to Palantir, an American company known for being publicly traded. This aspect of Palantir draws considerable interest, while Shield AI continues to operate as a private, unlisted company. Could you please elaborate on the technological differences between Shield AI and Palantir? Additionally, how might one address the debate on which company is arguably superior, be it through technological innovation or market practices?
Good question. No, look, I have a lot of respect for the Palantir team. Sham Sankar, I consider him a mentor, and I think what they built was incredible. And they did it. Palantir started in 2003, I think, and trailblazed for a lot. Palantir and SpaceX, I think, for trailblazing for the rest of the defense technology industry. They were truly the first people to ever do things in defense. We're very different. Palantir focuses on the intelligence aspect of the military, on data collection, data aggregation, and using it basically to manage all intelligence operations for the DoD, what the different intelligence agencies are doing, different missions that are going on. Shield AI is very much focused on autonomy. And so that's just a very different product, a very different aspect in terms of what they do. So two completely different companies building two completely different products and going after different areas. Obviously, Palantir has, what they'll tell you is they do the ontology. They map out an organization and help that organization organize all of its data. Shield AI, we build autonomy and deploy autonomy onto physical platforms. And actually, we work together with them. We've partnered with them on a number of different aspects, but we have tied in Palantir and Shield AI, tying in our autonomy systems like the VBAT into Palantir's software system.
If we think back to the early days of the internet when we first started using email, back then we really didn't grasp the full potential of the internet or understand how it would evolve. Now that we've entered the age of AI, I feel we're in a similar state of uncertainty. The question I want to ask is, how exactly will AI technology change the world? We assume it will change many things, but it's hard to see which areas will be most transformed and which will be less affected. You've been specializing in the AI field for a long time, so as an expert, I'd like to hear your personal perspective on how you believe AI will change our lives in the future.
Yep. No, I think it's a great question, you absolutely nailed it. I think, I remember in 1993 or 1994, with the internet, everybody said, oh, the internet's for sending email. And everybody thought that it was just for email. And then people were like, oh, the internet can be an online store, right? And then it just became, you had Amazon and eBay. And then, what everybody has since realized is like the internet is about connecting every single human being on the planet to each other. And now we have things like Uber or all the apps on our phone that connect us in so many ways, the social media, the messaging apps. I think for the internet or for AI, it was also very similar. In 2012 or 2013, everybody thought AI was for recognizing pictures of cats. That was the very first thing. It was like, oh, you can actually recognize, train an AI to learn pictures better than any human being can learn of a cat. And then it was, oh, AI can actually beat human players in games, whether it was StarCraft with Alpha Star or AlphaGo and beating world champions in Go. And that's what people thought AI was going to be. And even with ChatGPT, everybody said, oh, this is what AI is. AI is about being able to be an assistant to me and tell me things, and I can ask it any question and it can solve, any problem as long as I'm a chatbot assistant to me. I think, people are missing the point when they think about it. AI is a system that can learn, that can think, that can continuously improve. And so the possibilities are really limitless. So yes, it can be a ChatGPT chatbot. It also can enable something like a self-driving car or a self-flying fighter jet. it will enable humanoid robots. So what I think the most powerful aspect of AI is truly autonomy. Building autonomous machines is going to be, what I think AI, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people will say AI ushered in the age of autonomy, where we were able to build autonomous machines that could do very, very amazing things for the planet. From humanoid robots to self-driving cars to self-driving, fighter jets.
By that time, what will people do?
It's a good question. I think these machines will make us better, right? In the same way that our computers have made us more connected, they've advanced us in a lot of ways. I think at the end of the day, technology, yes, there are its challenges, and people will be challenged to find, different purposes when they have all these robotic machines. But I think when you pair intelligent machines with humans, that's when you have the best outcome. And so there's, I do believe people and machines will work together on a number of different efforts.
As the co-founder and president of Shield AI, can you elaborate on the primary concerns that occupy your thoughts regarding the ongoing management of the company? And further, what are the aspirations or objectives you foresee for its future as you guide it forward?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I want to deploy 1 million AI pilots in the next 10 years. I want to deploy 100 million AI pilots in the next 15 years. So truly an age of autonomy, an autonomous world. And these will be AI pilots flying aircraft, AI pilots maneuvering unmanned surface vessels, AI pilots on unmanned underwater vehicles, AI pilots commanding spacecraft, satellites. And then also AI pilots on board commercial products, whether it's commercial aircraft or just autonomous systems that other people have not yet, contemplated. Yes, we have self-driving cars, we have self-driving aircraft, we'll have humanoid robots, but I actually think there's going to be a large number of autonomous systems besides those things that are going to be built over the next decade.
Is the company managing with enough financial resources?
We are a fast-growing company, and we've raised about $1.3 billion. We have a valuation of $5.3 billion. Again, just looking to continue to grow, continuing to achieve our mission at scale. Probably the most likely path will be going public at some point in time, but not a core focus of our business right now. We just want to keep growing.
Though I'm uncertain whether you will be willing or able to provide a response to my query, I feel obliged to present it regardless. It's worth mentioning that our audience base on the channel largely comprises investors, many of whom are currently exploring opportunities in the technology landscape. Of all emerging markets, artificial intelligence has notably positioned itself as the premier zone of interest and investment. Your deep-rooted experience in this field as an esteemed veteran allows you to offer unique insights. We would be elated if you could discuss which sectors, or even specific companies, you consider holding the most potential for investors seeking future growth. If you are unable to share this information, we do hope you might still offer your general perspective. We value your expert insights hugely.
I'm very bullish on AI and autonomy. And I think you want to look for companies that have worked on it for a very, very long time. And so Shield AI, we've been working on AI and autonomy for 10 years. Tesla has been working on AI and autonomy probably for 14 years now. I think very highly of their autonomy efforts, whether it's on their cars or their humanoid robots. I think xAI with Grok, I think ChatGPT are great. I think Google has done a great job. And then I think Microsoft is another company that is obviously very large, very good at software. Palantir, another great company that's grown really quickly. I don't think you can, in the same way, at a certain point, there was a lot of companies that survived the .com bust and became great internet, companies backed by the internet. I think you look at these companies that have gone through what we call the AI winters, come out the other end. That's what I think some of the great companies are.
We are sincerely thankful for the time with Brandon Tseng, the co-founder of Shield AI, dedicated to today's interview. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.